I am Jennifer Chi, and I am the Exhibitions Director and Chief Curator at the Institute for the Study of the Ancient World at New York University. I would like to welcome you to our fall exhibition, Edge of Empires, Pagans, Jews, and Christians at Roman Dura-Europos. Dura-Europos was founded in the 4th century BC by a Greek general. 150 years later, it was overtaken by the ancient Near Eastern Parthian Empire, and then in 165 AD, overtaken by the Roman Empire. The fact that the city was occupied by many different cultures, Greeks, Parthians, Romans, and also had an immigrant population, created a multicultural atmosphere in Dura, where many different religious practices, as well as many different languages, and people from many different cultures were all living, working, and worshiping together.
One of our main focuses of the exhibition has to do with cultural melding and the presence of the military and the diversity of religion that comes with the meeting of East and West at Dura-Europos. This particular altar epitomizes that. This is a Roman officer, his military command has a Greek name, and he's making a sacrifice to a Palmyrene god, and all of it is done in Greek, in a Greek text. Many, many different languages were spoken and written and used at Dura. The language of the founders of the city and the first colonists was Greek. Later in the history of the city, when the Romans take over, Latin becomes the language of command and rule, although Greek remains the language of business and of culture. Of course, the native language spoken by the regional population was a version of Aramaic, a kind of a Palmyrene dialect of Aramaic. And we have examples of all of these and other languages in the exhibition and also found at the site. The main area of the exhibition has to do with religion and religious diversity at Dura, and we have objects that relate to pagans, Jews, and Christians. Here we're looking at a number of ceiling tiles that decorated the main assembly hall of the Jewish synagogue, which is one of the best preserved synagogues from all antiquity and was the very first discovery of a full array of Jewish pictorial art. Ceiling tiles are decorated individually in a wide array of classicizing decorative motifs, including grapes, fish, birds, pine cones, flowers, but also more classicizing mythological motifs such as a centaur up above and down below zodiacal signs like this Capricorn.
Coins were brought to Dura perhaps for two distinctive purposes we can think about in the Roman period. One, to pay the army. That's very important. Roman soldiers were paid, and if you didn't pay them, they got unhappy. And then also through a network of commercial exchange, which is also related to the other material that we've seen there. In the case, you can see relatively high-value silver coins. And when we see price lists from Dura, which is really very exciting that we can see how much thing costs, we can see that the more expensive material is paid for in silver, and the more common goods, the less expensive foods, are paid for with bronze coins. And that's very interesting to see that detail of how the economy worked. And to be able to take coins like this, which are very enjoyable to look at, and connect them to the material that we see in the other cases, and again with all the other stuff that is on display here, is a remarkable opportunity to piece together what daily life was like in an ancient city.
One of the most spectacular finds from Dura, this is a common refrain because there are so many spectacular finds from Dura. So in addition to the synagogue, also the excavators also found a series of wall paintings from the baptistry in the Christian community house. So here's a scene of Jesus healing the paralytic at the well of Bethesda. Down below is a procession of female figures wearing all white clothing. The Christian initiates came into the baptistry to be baptized. They would have been wearing white robes and processed in this same direction, so that these would be a sort of eternal, permanent record of that aspect of the ritual. So we've looked at some of the Christian objects and some of the Jewish objects, but of course the vast majority of the people who lived at Dura practice religions that we would in the present day call pagan. One aspect of polytheism is that no one deity is necessarily supreme over another. And so in zones of cultural mixing like Dura, where there are Romans and Syrians and Iranians and Jews all coming together, is that you wind up with a certain amount of religious assimilation. One of the things that's most spectacular about Dura and what we try and show in the exhibition is the multi-layered culture at the site. It's founded by Hellenistic Greeks, it's then taken by Parthians from the Iranian plateau, and then centuries later is taken by the Romans. So what you see at Dura is this over-layering of cultures and aspects that stay in all different periods. So even in the final period of the site, when the Romans are there are still aspects of the Greek culture and aspects of Parthian culture that all meld and mix together into a whole.